And hello, everyone. Welcome to Monday, the 15th of February. I just want to mention it is my goddaughter's birthday today, the day after Valentine's Day. I don't know if that's good or bad. If she has a mate in her life, is Valentine's Day kind of the highlight and then, oh, it's your birthday? Or is it the warm up to, hey, it's your birthday? Not sure. But welcome, everyone. Promised by the Weather Service, this is starting to be the break. I'm not sure what the temp is outside right now. Let's see what we can find. They're claiming that it is, of course, the one time I want the temp, I'm not getting it. Temperature outside.
It's 0 degrees in Crystal
Zero.
right now.
First time it's hit zero in 10 or 11 days. Last night was the coldest night overnight, just incredibly cold. And I know friends and neighbors who have never had their waters freeze up that have had their waters freeze up. And that's just, it's just the worst time, terrible thing that can happen. We have a mobile home attached to my house, and it has, where the water comes up from underground, then it has to go along the bottom of the mobile home, about 40 feet to where it then is the input into the mobile home. And that has heat tape wrapped around it. And that heat tape has been functioning for 20 years, I think. And it's never failed us. We look at it every few years and it's not doing like heat tape does before it fades out on you or anything. But I suppose this summer now it should just be removed and carefully done with a brand new one. But it's like do you remember the movie Flower Drum Song, when the American was visiting and then it rained and they had rain buckets all over their house, and he's well, what's the matter? Well, the roof leaks. Well, why don't you fix it? Well, can't fix it now, it's raining. Why don't you fix it when it's not raining? When it's not raining, we don't need to fix it. Anyway, that's our story with no moral today, or whatever. Got some great news for you in the hemp world today. Interesting things. And I think we even have a picture. Do we have a picture? We had a picture. I got to see if I didn't load it up here yet, so I'll be doing that while I'm talking. I think I have it here in downloads. I brought it up the other day. I thought I did. This is one of those I thought I did. If not, I'll make it happen here right now, because you see I can take the picture off my giant screen with my camera, and then from there move it around. You see, I thought I did this on Friday. It's a cool picture, really is. Okay. But the first story today, also Minnesota Shari. This is really neat. 3M, of course, 3M is a Minnesota company. The initials stand for Minnesota Mining and Manufacturing, and that goes back to, 100 years ago. It's easy to be 100 years old now because that's 1920, and that's 5 years into my dad's life only. But they have moved around. Although there's a funny mistake in the story, maybe I'll tell it to you. But they think hemp can be part of a sustainability megatrend, and they are looking at hemp components to strengthen packaging tape, as well as they've diversified into all sorts of things, as well as growing human tissue and organs. But of course, it would be awesome in packaging tape. And that's where, can you think of there's 4 flows, maybe 5 now, for hemp. Can you think of which flow would be the flow that would be which part of the hemp plant do we want to be for strengthening 3M's tapes? Got it? Okay. here's what it is. It would be what I call the silk or the bast. That's the bark. It's not really bark. It's not like bark on a tree. It's very soft. And, on a 14-foot piece of industrial hemp, the silks are really long if they're harvested right. And that's, of course, what we're working on our research and development projects here. But that silk can be literally taken off with the right machine, and then it's done just like lamb's wool would be done, or cotton with a cotton gin, until it's like just really fine, and it's very much like silk. But each one of those silk fibers are very much like silk. There's a silk thread for its dimensions are as strong as steel. And of course, they could just be laid on the tape. If this was tape, if this was a piece of Scotch tape, that's a 3M brand, you remember? And those silks were just laid on it so that when it came off the reel and it went on your package, man, that tape would be literally indestructible as far as pulling strength. You wouldn't even need that many strands of the fiber on it. And it would be incredible, and it would be incredibly inexpensive as you did it. So that's just really, really a neat thing. He says, this is interesting. Here's a little tidbit that snuck through the article. 3M has been tinkering with hemp for years outside of the United States. But of course, the 2018 bill allowed them to bring their research inside the country. Do you see how this is when America keeps laws against something, but big mega companies they're doing it anyway outside the United States? Do you see how unfair that is, both to us as consumers in the United States, but how about the American workers and the American really smart people? Because they're doing one of two things. Either they're taking our smart people and they're saying, no, kitty down. How would you like to spend a year or two in France or maybe Paraguay or somewhere where there's no laws? But then we're paying them outside the United States. We're having them spend their money outside the United States. That should happen here. See that? So that's why we are on the road to now changing some of this, and that's good. But you see why that's bad. And why we should be training people to get really smart and then have them be real smart in the United States so that their coworkers and their people that are under them are working and doing their research in the United States. Ace just, I don't know if it's that he's so needy to be on the camera or that he is just so desirous to have a career in show business, or are you more in technology, guy? I don't know what it is that you are. But yeah. But you see, that's why we have to be able to do this stuff in the country. In the country. So pretty much across the board, regardless of whether it's consumer, industrial, healthcare, transportation, or energy, 3M is interested in hemp and trying to incorporate it because they know that Minnesota is going to be a state that hemp is going to be, and they, without trying to sound that or pointing a finger at 3M for being greedy, they want to get their fingers in it. So it's really interesting whether it's hemp fiber or hemp oil. The only thing they don't seem to be interested in is the CBD or the health that way. They're more interested in the health care. What can it do for adhesives, both on the planet and in aerospace, garbage bags, general plastic bags, surgical gauze. Maybe we can even take it and make it so that they can make something that can go in the human body, because it is absolutely, yes, I'm Sean Connery today, absolutely inert. Not offensive at all to the human body, not even from blood type to blood type. This is one thing that I did find that I should call the guy and explain to him. They think of non-woven material to be put down in agriculture to prevent soil erosion and inhibit weeds. But you and I both know, and you've heard it on the show a lot of times, that's probably not a good idea, because the beautiful thing about hemp, different than sugar beets, different than corn, I think soybeans does it too. But we tear up our hemp field and put big stalks in it. I mean, the first year we had stalks that were this big around and had a root system like a sunflower. And, by the time you went in there next spring and tore it up a little bit, it was all gone. So I don't think anything they're going to weave out of hemp fibers are going to hold that soil very long. They're just going to go away. Then, of course, they got to where we started here with the conventional box sealing tape. And this is interesting. Growing matrix for so-called induced pluripotent stem cells. Of course, regenerative medicine for things like cultivating a healthy liver or intestinal tissue, like people that have Crohn's disease or IBS, where they have gone in and they've had to take out pieces of people's intestines. It's a terrible thing to have. Friends of mine that have that disease, not counting, they don't have fun lives because they can be out. It's not bothering them at the moment. They're out with their friends and bang, it hits them, and they're so embarrassed. And you guys, you don't need to be. We can all appreciate that something has come upon you. I've had things like that happen to me, and I know I get embarrassed too, but if you have friends, they should understand. If they don't, they're not your friends. But this could be really good, like for putting bowels back together, intestines, and doing things. So these are all wonderful things. And remember, every day in and out, I'm talking about one plant, 3 variations, thousands of varieties, but it's still one plant. It is a magic plant, and it is so wonderful. And that's why, he's here. As long as he's here on my lap, he's a happy camper. So we'll do that. That's the one the one thing we're going to talk about today. Now, Ace, I'm sorry, but I need 2 hands to tell our listeners about this next show, this next item of the show, because it's really interesting. So you have just got to go. You got to go, buddy. I'm sorry. I'll hold you later. He's an outside cat. He should, well, not outside today. He should have his place inside, but he also is a very friendly to humans cat, and he's a good guy. If you saw the movie The Princess Bride, he's related to the cat that was in there. Now, come on. You just got to go down here. Yeah, you go down there. Yeah, you go down there. Because I have to show this. This is a wonderful, wonderful story here. Of course, in the burial business, there's it's really been stationary for a lot of years. It's been very traditional. Not much has changed. Even caskets, haven't really changed for a lot of years. Matter of fact, in my opinion, they're too frilly. They got too much bric-a-brac on them. No designers really taken upon themselves to make sleek and nice design ones, really. We looked a long, long time to find what I thought was representative of my dad. And we did find one. It was gunmetal blue, and it had nothing on it except silver-colored handles on it, but no bric-a-brac at all. And we had it. It was a job to do. Watch, throw a little water on him. Psst, psst. Yeah, now he's gone. So, but that's changing just in the last years. Some people are getting buried in very much things tied to what they like. There are college marked caskets. There are Coca-Cola and Pepsi marked caskets. And, things that are just really marked with something, NASCAR and things like that. And there are also caskets that are made from woods. President Kennedy was buried in a beautiful mahogany casket. And you can literally get a duplicate of it now if you want, but it's $40,000. And I don't know about you, but I have left very specific instructions that not because I want to cut out my friend at the funeral home, who I've known since the 60s. He came no, it was about 71, the exact. But he came when a very dear cousin of mine passed away, and he's been there ever since. But I don't want to cut him out of his profits. He does an excellent job, but I don't want to be known as someone who spent a lot of money in something that you're going to see for a few hours and it's gone forever. So I have instructions to be, put in a very plain box. Of course, the funny thing is a plain pine box is several thousand now. But since I am in the hemp business, and that's what has come out now, I want to show you this. And if I can find this, there, you can see it. You see the reflections in our studio here. That is an unfinished hemp not bass, but hurd. The inside of the hemp plant pressed into wood, and that wood then, they're 1x4s or 3/4 by 4-inch pieces of wood that is made into a casket. Do you know the difference, by the way, between a casket and a coffin? I'm a coffin. No. The difference between a casket and a coffin is that this is a casket. It is perfectly rectangular in shape. It doesn't matter if it has a flat top or a rounded top, it's still a casket. This is a half couch because you can lift one half of it up and leave the bottom over the feet down. If it was a full couch, the whole top would lift up. They are more popular in the East Coast, a full couch. I've never seen a full couch myself, but they are in the East Coast more, or in other countries. But a coffin is where it's widest at the shoulders, and then it comes together at the feet, very narrow, and a little bit together toward the head. That would be a coffin. And older, but yet very traditional in England and some of the other countries in Europe, and also in other countries around the world. But that's the difference between a casket and a coffin. So you want to be very accurate when you're speaking. But that is my two stories for today. 3M getting into hemp would be incredible, because certainly the farmers within 300-400 miles of them would have an outlet, or at least the processors that would be buying the hemp from the farmers would have a direct outlet to deliver goods. Hemp caskets, again, find the board company that's going to be making the boards to turn in. And of course, anyone can make, I don't know if you know, but there is national laws now that the funeral home can't tell you that you have to buy a casket or a coffin from them. Just last month, a gentleman down in Hillsboro, North Dakota, was an incredible fisherman and worked with wood. And a few years before he died, he made his own casket. And it was rather plain, like a wooden box. But he chose to do that. And they actually carried him from the funeral home, and then from the funeral home to the cemetery. Fortunately, January was a pretty mild year here. And they did that in his open Lund boat. Didn't mean to get on funerals here, but this is just to let you know that, the right funeral home, not right by WRGHT, who are in Moorhead, but if you find the correct funeral home, they will be happy to work with you to create the departure that is appropriate for your loved one or for yourself if you're planning your own. And if they don't, find another one. But you can build or have built for you what you want, as long as it meets a few requirements. And certainly it can be out of hemp. And wouldn't that be nice? Because you are taking things that would be locally grown around you for your final forever repository at some point that would go back naturally into the ground with your remains. And I certainly would look to do that for myself. And the first one is now in business in the United States. Don't have costs for you yet, but we'll do that sometime. Those are our hemp stories for today. If you like us, please on Facebook, friend us. It really is important to us. If you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe and hit the little bell, and we'll let you know every time that we have another program ready to go live. Or if you catch us any other time of the day, we really do appreciate you. My name is John Reitmeyer. I'm part of CANNA RHX. Expect big things to come from us here in the next few weeks, and then even bigger things in the next year or so. Hemp is moving really slowly, but I can tell you around the United States and in the people that we talk to, there are such exciting big things going on. Stay with us. We're hoping to talk to you more. Love to talk to you in person. Our contact information is readily available just by clicking the who we are on any place that you are seeing us. Thank you. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And until then, I promise you, it is warming up. See you soon.